No changes on the table over in Italy, of course, as both Milan sides still lead the charge. But what's going to go on this weekend as we take a little look next? That's what I think about what's going on in the prediction video today. We're taking a look at match number 8, of course, over in Serie A, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe button back and say all things Rovers related, Serie A related, world football related. We're all here, boys, under one brewski. That's right. Napoli, though, are, of course, getting within touching distance. Of course, still got a little bit of work to do, despite their off-the-field matters, but it is still internationally leading charge over AC Milan. And that could all change, though, this weekend. We'll get into it, of course, in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, because you know who you are. But, of course, once again, I want to elaborate or I want to over-sensitize, or even if that's even a word, the fact that 77% of the viewers of this channel are not subscribed. Let's get that number down, at least towards the 50%. So please do us a favor and smash the old subscribe. Get your back up to date with everything here at the channel. We are, of course, a bit of a catch-all. We talk about everything going on around the business. So let's get into it then. Of course, recap the results of last week. Of course, last weekend it was a double match week last weekend, so the games were thick and fast. Starting with this one. All right then. So Lecce did lose to Napoli, 4-0 win for them, 2-0 win in my eyes. AC Milan with a big win over Lazio. I went with a 2-1 win. It was a 2-0 win. Meanwhile, Inter with a big 4-0 win over Salernitana. I went with a 2-1 for Inter as well. Bologna picked up a 3-0 win for Empoli. I went with just a 1-0. Udinese and Genoa duked out to a 2-2 draw. I went with a 1-1 draw. Atalanta and Juve, 0-0 draw was the final score, 2-2 in my eyes. Roma with a 2-0 win over Frosinone. I went with a 3-0. Ain't too shabby there. Monza with an away win over Sassuolo. I went the other way. Torino and Verona with a 0-0 draw. I went with a 2-1 win for Torino. And Fiorentina, 3-0 winners over Cagliari and 2-0 win in my eyes. So, realistically, that does look good for me. We'll see how that does put me in the Super Brew in a second, but this is the table as it stands right now. Inter level on points with AC, of course, just the goal difference separated two sides. And then Napoli and Juve, 4 points adrift, with Fiorentina also in the mix as well. Going down, Salernitana, Empoli and Cagliari. Roma are in, of course, 13th spot right now. But of course, it's not about that. It's all about this, guys. It is the Super Brew. That's the link. If you want to get involved, it's still free to enter. And of course, we're going to take a cold, hard look at the Super Brew right here, right now, as I gear it up for us to have a little look. Then here it is. This is the round results for this past week, or is it? Yes, it is. So Daddy Cool picking up a whopping 16 points there. I picked up a whopping 12, not too shabby there. Hans Worst, 16 points as well. Alex Weller with 14, the Beast with 13.5, Saki 13, Teabi with 12.5, then me, and then the Chasing Pack as well. But if you see your name in there, please smash your subscribe, smash your thumbs up, smash the little bell, guys. Of course, that's the movers and shakers this past week. What about the movers and shakers over in the main leaderboard? Ferris 77 still tops the Pops, the Beast, big mover up to at number 2 from number 3. Hans was big mover from 11 to up 11 spots to 4. Daddy Cool also up 11 spots to number 5. I am still struggling, but I'm up 4 spots to 18. I'm into the top 20. I'm over Frosty, which of course is good because he knows what he's talking about, of course. So it does give me a bit of momentum, and maybe I can kick on forward into the top 10. What's the gap? What's the gap between me and the top 10? 8.5 points. I could do it. I don't think I could do it this time out, but we'll give it our best shot, of course. So don't forget, Super Brew is wide open, guys. And of course, we're looking for more people to get involved, even though the competition's already started. You might think you've got a bit of a handicap there. Of course, not going to play catch up, but you can. I've seen it done. I've seen it happen before. Anyway, these are the next games that, of course, coming at you this coming weekend. Of course, from the 6th through to the 8th. Of course, international break is awaiting around the corner already. So let's get into it with the first one. Empoli against Udinese. Now, these two sides will lock horns on the 6th of October, sorry. 26 times they've played each other since 1997. We've got 7 wins for Empoli, 11 wins for Udinese, and we've got 8 draws, of course. Biggest win for Empoli, 3-1 win, scoring 27 goals in those 26 matches. That's just 1.04 goals a game. Udinese, on the flip side, their biggest win was a 4-1 win. They scored 35 goals in those 26 matches, 1.35 goals a match. Udinese, without a win in 6, they are 17th for the table right now with 4 points on the board, up against Empoli, just 1 win in 6, 18th for the table with 3 points on the board. But Udinese haven't won the last 6 matches, and of course, last time they played each other over at the Carlo Castellani, it was a 1-0 win for Udinese. Udinese back in March 2023. In fact, they're unbeaten over Empoli over the last three. But of course, look at the odds for this one. We have 9-5 as your host here. 23-10 is the draw. 6-4 is your away win here. We're going with, what are we going with? Oh my gosh, I've done it again. I've jumped the gun. We're going to skip forward and find that. Find it, save it on the edge. It's not that far behind. It's this one. So let's go back here. And of course, there it is. Going to go with a point apiece on that one. 1-1 in the end. Yes, saving grace there. Don't want to have to edit that sucker out. Anyway, Cagliari kicking on forward up against Roma. That's coming at you on Sunday, October the 8th. Now, these two sides have played each other 47 times in 1993. We've got 10 wins for Cagliari. We've got 24 wins for Roma. We got 13 draws. Of course, Cagliari under Ranieri. These two ex-Chelsea managers here. Ranieri's boys, of course, big spin for them. 5-1 wins, scoring 65 goals in those 47 matches. That's a 1.38 goals a game. Roma on the flip side, 5-1 win for them. Their biggest, 89 goals scored in 47 matches, 1.89 goals a game. Roma just one defeat past 5, 58% form for them. They are 13th with 8 points on the board up against Cagliari, who are rooted to the foot of the table with just 2 points, 8% form for them, and haven't won the last 6 games. Meanwhile, last time around at the Unipol Domus, of course, in Cagliari, was a 2-1 win for Roma, who won back-to-back games over Cagliari last season, or last time around. It wasn't last season prior. The odds here, 7-2 is your Cagliari, 5-4 on is your Roma, 5-2 is the draw. 2-0 win for me for Mourinho's boys over the old guard, that is Claudio Ranieri. Next up, we have Frosinone up against Hellas Verona. Of course, come at you on Sunday, October the 8th as well. Played each other 6 times in 2006. We've got 4 wins for Frosinone. We've got 1 win for Verona, and we've got 1 draw. Of course, Frosine's biggest win was a 1-0 win, scoring 10 goals in the 6 matches. That's, of course, 1.68 goals a game. Of course, Verona's one and only win was a 2-0 win. They've scored 8 goals in the 6 matches, 1.33 goals a game. Verona, though, without a win in 5, 33% form for them at the minute. 15th at the table with just 8 points on the board. Against Frosinone, just 1 win in 5, 58% form for them. Just one defeat in the last 6 also, and then 9th for the table with 9 points on the board. Last time around at the Stadio Bento Srepre, it was a 1-0 win for Frosinone back in February 2017. That was in Serie B. Of course, the odds on this one then, shall we? We've got Frosinone 30-10 for the victory, 12-5 is draw, 2-1 is your away win. Of course, Frosinone doing well, but not that well to convince they're going to get the victory. 1-1 in the end for me on that one. Genoa, do you know what I mean? Up against AC Milan. That's, of course, coming at you on Saturday, October the 7th. Now, these two sides have played each other 35 times since 1993. We've got 7 wins for Genoa, 21 wins for Milan, and we've got 7 draws, of course. Genoa's biggest win, 3-0 wins, scoring 27 goals in those 35 matches, 0.77 goals a game. Up against Milan, biggest win for them, 3-0 win, also scoring 49 goals in the 35 matches, 1.40 goals a match. Milan winning 3 in the bounce, of course, just 1 defeat past 6. That's 75% form for them heading into this. Second in the table, of course, 18 points on the board. Up against Genoa, who are 14th with 8 points on the board, and they are on 50% form right now. 1-2 lost to and drawn to. In fact, if we want to look at that different way, just 1 win in 5, of course. Last time around, in Genoa, of course, a.k.a. the Luigi Ferraris, it was a 3-0 win for Milan back in December 2021. Milan winning 4 in the bounce against Genoa and looking to continue that into this coming weekend. Of course, the odds on this, Badgerino then, shall we? Genoa 14-5 for the victory, 5-2 draw, 11-10 on is, of course, AC Milan. They're favourite. They're going to get the victory here, 2-0 win in my eyes to put the pressure on Internazionale, who are next up against Bologna, of course, coming at you at the same day. This one, of course, taking place in Milan. Played each other 50 times since 1997. We've got 31 wins for Inter. We've got 11 wins for Bologna, and we've got 8 draws, of course. Biggest win for Inter, 6-1 win, scored 96 goals in those 50 matches, 1.92 goals a game. Bologna on the flip side, 3-0 win was their biggest, scored 55 goals in those 50 matches, 1.10 goals a game. Bologna on the flip here, unbeaten in the last 6 games, are in 8th with 10 points on the board, 67th percent form in the minute, up against Internazionale, who are, of course, top with 18 points, but just 2 wins in the last 4 games, 75% form for them heading into this match. Last time around over at the Giuseppe Meazza, it was a 6-1 win for Inter back in November 2022. In fact, it's been back-to-back 6-1 wins over Bologna the last 2 times they played each other in Milan. That's right. Of course, the odds for this one then, shall we? Got Inter coming at you 5-2 on for the victory, 50-4 is the draw, 11-2 is your away win. It's going to be a home win here, not as convincing, but a big one on the same. 3-0 win for me in my eyes. Next up, we go Juve up against we've got Juve up against Torino, of course, also on Saturday, October the 7th. Now, these two sides have played each other 40 times in 1993. We've got 28 wins for Juventus, 3 wins for Torino, and 9 draws. Biggest win for Juventus, 5-0 win. They've scored 80 goals in the 40 matches. That's 2 goals a game on average. Torino on the flip side, 2-1 win, their biggest, 31 goals scored in the 40 matches, 0.78 goals a game. Torino in 10th with 9 points on the board right now, 50% form for them, 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6. However, without a win in 3, up against Juventus, who are 4th, 14 points points on the board, just one defeated past 6. That's 67% form for them heading into this as well. Last round over at the Allianz Stadium, it was a 4-2 win for Juventus back in February 2023. And of course, the odds for this one go in favour 4-3 on for Juventus, 5-2 is the draw, and 50-4 is the away win. 3-1 win, comfortably done for Juventus, putting more pressure on the top two. Next up, we have Lazio up against Atalanta, of course, over in Roma, of course, come at you on Sunday, October the 8th. Now, these two sides have played each other 51 times since 1983. We've got 23 wins for Lazio, 50 wins for Atalanta, and we've got 13 draws, of course. Lazio's biggest win, 5-1 win, scoring 76 goals in those 51 matches, 1.49 goals a game. Atalanta, on the flip side, 4-1 win was their biggest, scoring 58 goals in the 51 matches, 1.14 goals a match. Atalanta are flying high in 6th right now with 13 points on the board, just the one defeat in the past 6. That's 75% form for them heading into this. Lazio, 50% form for them, 1-2 lost to, and drawn 2, of course. 16th in the table with just 7 points on the board, just 1 win in 5 if you want to look at it a different way. Of course, last time around over at the Stadio Olimpico, it was the 2-0 win for Atalanta. That was back in February 2023. In fact, the home side hasn't won this game in the last 5 matches, and the last time the home side did win, it was Atalanta beating Lazio at their place. Of course, the odds for this one then, shall we? We've got Lazio 8-5 for the victory. We got 23-10 is the draw, 13-8 is your visitors. It's a tight one, but I've got to back Lazio here. 2-1 win for them. They need to click it again at some stage, and Sarri ball is under a bit of pressure. Next up, we go Lecce up against Sassuolo, of course, coming at you over in Lecce. That's, of course, on Friday, October the 6th. These two sides play each other 6 times to 2010. It's got nothing for Lecce, 3 for Sassuolo, and 3 draws, of course. Lecce just scoring the 5 goals in the 6 matches, 0.83 goals a match. Up against Sassuolo, their biggest win, 4-2 win, scoring 9 goals in the 6 matches, 1.50 goals a match. 50% form for Sassuolo at the minute, winning 3 and losing 3 out of the last 6. They're 11th with 9 points on the board. Up against Lecce, who, of course, were flying high first couple of months of the season. 50% form for them right now. 1-2 lost to and drawn 2. However, back-to-back defeats. 7th in the table with 11 points on the board. Last time around, though, in Lecce, it was a 1-0 win for Sassuolo. Of course, won 3 on the bounce against Lecce, stretching all the way back to 2020. But the odds for this one, we have 7-5 as your host, 5-2 is the draw, 7-4 is your away win. So the host just favoured on this one. I'm going to give it to him, but of course it could go the other way as well. Monza with a tiny badge against Salernitana with a giant badge. Of course, come at you on Sunday, October the 6th. Now these two sides have played each other 16 times since 1998. We've got 5 wins apiece and 6 draws. Of course, biggest win for Monza, 3-0 win, scoring 21 goals in those 16 matches, 1.31 goals a match. Up against Salernitana, their biggest win, 3-0 win, scoring 22 goals in 16 matches, 1.38 goals a match. Salernitana, though, are in 19th with 3 points on the board, 17% form right now without a win in their last 7 matches. Meanwhile, Monza on the flip side, they're 12th with 9 points on the board. Of course, just on 1 defeat of the last 6 games. Of course, 58% form for them heading into this. Of course, last time around, though, in Monza at the Stadio Briatano, it was a 3-0 for Monza back in November 2022. That was, of course, last season. The odds for this one then, shall we go Monza 11-8 on for the victory, 14-5 is the draw, 7-2 is your long shot. Salernitana, they're away from home, 1-0 win here for Monza, 3 points, a big 3 points in the bag. Next up, we have a bit of a zinger here. We have Napoli. They are taking on Fiorentina, of course, coming at you on Sunday, October the 8th. Now, these two sides have played each other 47 times since 1994. We've got 20 wins for Napoli. We've got 15 wins for Fiorentina. And we've got 12 draws. Of course, base win for Napoli was a 6-0 win. They scored 65 goals in those 47 matches, 1.38 goals a game. Fiorentina, 4-0 win, their biggest, but they've also scored 65 goals in those 47 matches, 1.38 goals a game. The visitors on 67% form for them, just 1 defeat past 6. 5th of the table with 14 points on the board. Napoli, 67% form for them over the last 6, just 1 defeat the past 6 games as well. 3rd in the table with 14 points on the board. So, of course, they're level on points. It's pretty equal in regards to the goals scored against each other. But, of course, last time I played each other over in Napoli, a.k.a. the Stadio at Diego Maradona, was a 1-0 win for Napoli, who, of course, kept a clean sheet against Fiorentina back-to-back games last season. But the odds for this one, we have Napoli 6-4 on for the victory, 3-1 to the draw, 15-4 is your away win here. 2-1 win for me on this, for Napoli, taking it to the bank, and away they go. And that completes the bloody set there, guys. Of course, this is the last match before the international break, so please bear that in mind. And, of course, if it all comes on through, it will look like this, guys. That's right. This is what the table will look like. Inter will still be top with Milan in 2nd. Napoli and Juventus remain in the Power 4. Going down, Empoli, Salernitana and Cagliari, pretty much as you were, guys. And, of course, don't forget, the Super Brew is wide open. Free to enter. Get amongst the kitchen naming lights. Of course, see if you can help me predict me the prediction kit. And once again, guys, please make sure you smash your subscriber weapon. 78% of the visitors that come to the channel are not subscribed. We've got to get that number down at least towards the 50% mark. That will be absolutely fantastic. But until then, guys, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the little bell. Of course, your non-stop shop for Serie A continues, of course, right here at Blackburn Overseas. I'll see you soon for the next one.